Oh, this is a tough one.
Smith to throw. Pressure from
See, Geno makes the play, and obviously Lockett at the pylon.
It's over. The Seahawks win it.
Man, that was a tough one. Oh, they got to break this curse. Got to do whatever they can to break this curse. The Lions are looking to break the curse of the Seahawks and round into form on Monday Night Football. Welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Johnny Gaz. Thank you for returning for another video. Let's dive into the last matchup of Week 4. We'll go through the pregame news, notes, and roster updates, and I'll give my final predictions for Lions versus Seahawks. Let's go. Before we get into this game, make sure to hit that like button if you dig the vibe here at Johnny Gaz Sports. I would love it if you consider subscribing to the channel. We've just gotten over 2,000 subscribers thanks to you guys. If you hit that notify bell, it's the best way to make sure you don't miss any future videos. We do have a membership option available where I do all my live play-by-play game reactions. We'll have our tier list and a ton of other fun content. But of course, I'll have all the fun free videos here for you all the time. Make sure to comment down below, who do you have in this Monday Night Football matchup, Lions, Seahawks. Let me know who's going to be the big X factor in this game. Thank you guys so much for your time. Let's get into Monday Night Football. Let's start with the injuries and roster updates. There is a lot of them heading into this matchup. Let's start on the Lions side of things. Of course, we know Marcus Davenport and linebacker Derek Barnes both suffered injuries against the Cardinals. Davenport with an elbow and Barnes with a knee injury. They have both been placed on injured reserve. New to this list is Ife Melifonwu. He has been suffering with an ankle injury for several weeks. The Lions have also now placed him on injured reserve. Frank Ragnow, their all-pro center, he has been ruled out for this Monday Night Football matchup. He has a pectoral injury, has been deemed day-to-day, but the Lions are going to sit him out in this game as they have the upcoming bye week, hopefully to get him back as healthy as possible after the bye. On the positive end of things, Sam Laporta, the tight end, is eligible for this game. He has a lower ankle injury, but he will play, along with Alex Anzalone, who is coming off of concussion protocol. He did not play against the Cardinals. Aleem McNeil, Brian Branch, and Levi Onwuzurike have all been deemed eligible for this matchup as well. Enos Rakestraw, the rookie cornerback, is questionable for this Monday Night Football game. And for the Seahawks, unfortunately, they have been hit with the injury bug, mostly defensively. Let's start with the linebacking crew. Jerome Baker has a hamstring injury. He did not practice Friday. He is questionable for the Monday Night Football matchup. Linebackers Uchenna Nwosu and Boye Mafe have both been ruled out. Nwosu has a knee injury. He did not practice Friday. Same thing with Mafe. Knee injury, did not practice Friday. The team has designated them out for this Monday Night Football matchup. On the defensive line as well, defensive tackle Byron Murphy has a hamstring. He will be out, as well as defensive end Leonard Williams. They both suffered injuries in their Week 3 matchup against the Miami Dolphins. Again, they will both be out, so their defensive line, their front seven, is in a tough spot. Let's go through the news and notes ahead of this Monday night game, Lions and Seahawks. Let's start on the Lions side of things. As the Lions are adding to their injured reserve list, they need to replace those players on their active roster. So in turn, the Lions have signed wide receivers, both Tim Patrick and Allen Robinson, to their active 53-man roster. Of course, that is in response to losing Davenport, Barnes, and Ife Melifonwu, but also the Lions' offense has been in search for their replacement ex-wide receiver. We know they lost Josh Reynolds in the offseason, and they really are trying to find that security blanket for Jared Goff. So hopefully with Tim Patrick and Allen Robinson working themselves in, they can get some continuity at that position. Safety duo Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch are turning themselves into one of the better duos in all of the NFL. They are a great combination of size, speed, athleticism, and are really showing themselves in the first few weeks of this 2024 NFL season. The Lions are set to wear their alternate black uniforms for the first time this year. They've been wearing their blue alternate helmets all this week in practice. I thought it's a very sharp look. Should provide a great atmosphere to Monday night at Ford Field. And you can't ignore the Detroit Tigers. Through a miraculous run towards the end of this Major League Baseball season, they've provided a lot of inspiration to the Lions organization. There's been many quotes by Lions players, Dan Campbell, just congratulating the Tigers organization on this historic run. Again, downtown Detroit, fans of Detroit sports have to be feeling good about themselves with what's going on in the city. On the Seahawks side of things, you got to feel good about Geno Smith coming into Ford Field. He's had a lot of success against Detroit over the last several seasons. In 2022, he threw for 320 yards and 2 TDs. Followed that up last year in 2023 with a 328-yard performance, and again 2 scores with the overtime victory we saw leading in to this video. Geno Smith has a lot of success indoors, and that holds true against the Lions. Although as he's getting a little bit older, his escapability level has lessened, but he still is able to use those legs to get out of the pocket to make plays, now more so with his arm. The Lions are going to have to do a good job to contain Geno Smith in this matchup. The Seahawks are now down to their 3rd string tackle. Tackle Stone Forsythe will start in opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. That's a very tough assignment here, considering, again, they've had offensive line struggles already, and now they are losing tackles up front. This will be a tough matchup for them, so they'll probably end up using a lot of tight ends and running backs to chip and help out, of course, on the edge against Aiden Hutchinson. On the defensive side of the ball, we've talked about all the injuries for the Seahawks up in their front 7, but they still have a lot of experienced players and should be able to hold firm against the Lions. Mainly defensive tackle Jonathan Hankins, who is entering his 12th year in the NFL. He's maybe having his best season as a defensive tackle. Him, along with Jerron Reed, Dramont Jones, and Mike Morris, held firm in their Week 3 matchup against the Miami Dolphins, and they look to do the same against the Lions here on Monday night. And let's wrap the news up on the Seattle side with a very inspiring story. Seahawks linebacker Derek Hall was actually born premature, considered a micro-preemie, born at 2 pounds, 9 ounces at 23 and a half weeks. Just a very inspiring story. Obviously, he made a full recovery and has gone on to live a full, healthy life. He's entering his 2nd season in the NFL and is having a breakout year for the Seahawks. But just an inspiring story. He started the 1% Foundation. It aims to help others and provide inspiration to those in similar situations. But I just think that's really great. It's great to see something like that play out. And obviously, he's gone on to bigger and better things, and shows that even through that tough time, you can recover, you can come out of that, and just give a lot of people hope. And I thought that's a great way to kick off the Monday Night Football matchup. So let's dive into it. Week 4, Monday Night Football, September 30th, kickoff around 8:15 on ESPN and ABC. The Lions are coming in off of a rebound road victory over Arizona. The Seahawks coming in at 3-0, one of 2 remaining undefeated NFC teams, along with the Minnesota Vikings. They are coming in off a 24-3 victory over the tooless Miami Dolphins. Let's go through the biggest questions and what we should be looking out for in this Week 4 matchup. And we got to start with the ultimate cliche, but with the injury concerns on both sides, with both teams, who controls the line of scrimmage here on Monday Night Football? Detroit has the injured All-Pro center Frank Ragnow. How do they fix that? What do they do to make up for that loss? Ultimately, they'll end up sliding over guard Graham Glasgow, who is versatile and has made plenty of starts at center in the NFL, and most likely replace him at guard with their backup Coyote Owasika. They do have some depth options on their offensive line. On the other side of things, I think Seattle needs to focus on what they do defensively up front on their defensive front 7. They have a lot of injuries. They're going to have to get creative in their attack there. So who ultimately controls the line of scrimmage in this matchup? Can the Lions contain Geno Smith? That's been the bugaboo for them in every matchup over the last several seasons against Seattle. Geno Smith has been able to make plays with his legs, running the football as well as passing the football. The Lions will have to continue the success that they had in Week 3 against Kyler Murray, do a lot of the same things here against Geno Smith. Can the Lions stop the Seattle offensive weapons? If they're able to contain Geno Smith, that should quell some of their other offensive weapons. They have a duo of running backs in Zach Charbonnet and the returning Kenneth Walker, but we know the Lions' defensive rush game is stout. So I don't know if that's ultimately where they need to worry. To me, the biggest issue is going to be how do they cover Seattle's wide receivers? DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. They have a lot of options there, and any one of those guys can go off. Can the Lions turn their yardage into points? Week 1, they could not get it done in the red zone. Week 2, they lost to the Buccaneers. Week 3, they were able to get some things going in the first half, but just dropped off in the second half. They scored 0 points against the Cardinals, but were able to hang on the strength of their defense. So can the Lions get their offensive continuity going? Can they find that X-wide receiver in Tim Patrick or Allen Robinson? And does that give them the confidence to get rolling with the rest of this Ben Johnson offense? Are the Seattle Seahawks the team that they've showed in the first 3 weeks? Again, they're coming in undefeated, but they have played lesser opponents. I think it was the Denver Broncos, the New England Patriots, and the Miami Dolphins. Lesser quarterbacks in each one of those three matchups. Now they're coming into what I think will be a tough atmosphere, a tough environment to play in, and a very good Lions team with a lot of aspirations. This will show us who the Seattle Seahawks are this week on Monday Night Football. Who comes out on top on Monday Night Football this week? Who do you have, Lions or Seahawks? Let me know down in the comments. What do you have for your final score? The line on this game is still Lions minus 3.5. The over-under has been adjusted. It started off at 47. It's now moved to 45 points, and I have to think that has something to do with all the injuries stacking up here for both teams. Ultimately, I do believe the Lions control the line of scrimmage. Even with the Frank Ragnow injury, they have enough depth there, as we just talked about. I think Jared Goff has gotten a little bit better each week. I think now adding the additional offensive weapons, Tim Patrick has had some weeks to get involved in the system. Jameson Williams has shown he can be involved. Amon-Ra St. Brown is rounding into form, and we know what the Lions running game can do. So if they can control the line of scrimmage, work their play action game, that makes Jared Goff a better quarterback. And then the unfortunate part of thing is that Seattle, I think, is so injured on their defensive front seven, that's going to allow Jared Goff to get even more comfortable in this matchup. Overall, I have the Lions winning this football game 28-20. Again, I think the Lions control the action up front, and I think they're able to continue to get enough from their defense to really keep them competitive. The Lions are averaging, I think, 17.8 points average against them per game. That's really fantastic compared to previous seasons. Can the Lions defense continue the success? So again, I have the Lions winning this football game. That would bring them to 3-1. It would then drop the Seattle Seahawks down to 3-1. Lions in prime time in the black uniforms, blue helmets. It's going to be fantastic. Don't look past the Seahawks team. They are coming in with a ton of momentum. Yes, they have injuries, but they're riding a rookie head coach who is off to a fantastic start in Mike McDonald. He's going to want to come in here and really prove that they are the team that their record says they are. Should be a good matchup. I'm very excited. Make sure to hit that like button if you dig what we did here today in this video. I'd love it if you consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already. We're over 2,000 subscribers. Thanks to you. That's just fantastic. And if you hit that notify bell, it makes sure you don't miss any future videos here. There is a membership option available. If you hit the join button on any one of my videos, I'll walk you through the options you have to become a part of the family. We'll be doing a live play-by-play game reaction. And of course, we'll have all the fun free content you've come to love. Thank you guys so much for your time. But more than anything else, make sure to take care of yourself. Your mental health, that is more important than anything. I want to make sure you come back and see me on future videos. Again, thank you guys. I hope you've had a fantastic Sunday. Enjoy your Monday. Go Lions. But also, go Tigers.